No need to constantly pick at the stock market trying to see how it's going. You are getting paid because the companies are getting paid. The companies are doing well. That's your business. Hello and welcome back. My name is Diana. If you're new here, welcome. Before we get started, hit the like button as you enter and subscribe if you have not yet. Also, if you want to take your planning skills to the next level for all of your trips, join me in Wanderlust Planning, where I teach you how to plan a successful trip for every vacation you take, especially this summer because it's vacation season, right? Anyways, if that's calling you, link is in the description box below. Alright, let's begin. We are continuing with John's book, so let's go over the points that I took away from the book. Point number 1. There are bumps along the way, such as the 1930s Great Depression, or in our instance, the 2025 recently stock market crash, but we get over them. These are short-term lows, but ultimately the market returns to the long-term norm. Here we are talking about how there are lows in the stock market, and if you're watching it consistently, you will notice that yes, there are days, seconds, or hours where it dips. There are weeks where it dips. There are months where it dips, or it will skip over to possibly 6 months or more where it dips. And if you're in, you have noticed that. But if you're not, that's something that happens. And sometimes more frequently than other times. If you're constantly watching, your brain is going to spiral because, oh my goodness, you just entered the stock market and now everything is going the opposite of what you want. But that's what happens. Bumps come, and if you're constantly watching and you see those bumps, your emotions will skyrocket, especially if you do not have a plan. I do have a friend who is in the stock market and sits on his desk watching the stock market like a hog all day, and it freaks him out. It freaks him out constantly because when you watch it, it changes naturally and rapidly because people are constantly buying and selling. Those again are short-term events that are happening. But if you watch the full spectrum of the market, you will see that there is a norm that it actually is in, especially for whatever company you're in, right? Whatever fund you're in. And sometimes that is a bear market, and sometimes that's a bull market. But for the majority of times, it can be a bull market, but that's in general, the overall picture. If you're just watching it on the day-to-day basis, you're looking at the short-term results. And yes, the bumps do come. Sometimes they could last as long as 3 months or as long as a year to 3 years, depending on what's going on. So you can be in the market short term, but eventually, if we are speaking of index funds, then we want to be in this for the long term. That's basically what we are trying to learn and make a decision on. Point number 2 is that investment returns, which are the earnings and dividends generated by American businesses that are almost entirely responsible for the returns delivered in our stock market, are the long term. So when you hear investment returns, that's basically what your understanding should be. The investment returns are basically what you kind of want to focus on. Those are the big markets that are either improving or not improving. Generally, they're doing well. That's why they are the big markets, right? That's why we are taught and encouraged to know what's going on in and with the market, in and with the companies we choose to invest in. To complete the author's point, where the stock market moves depends almost entirely on whether our corporations do well or not. So, if you understand the economy and you're learning about the overall investment returns, that will be beneficial to you. Before we continue, hit the like button if you have not yet, and or if you are enjoying the content, and or if you are learning something so far or it's clicking a little bit for you. Alright, point number 3. Ignore the short-term sound and fury reflected in our financial markets and focus on the productive long-term economics of our corporate business. So people enter and exit the market based on emotions, right? I've known that, and I've seen that happen even in my own life sometimes. That drives volatility. Do not follow what they are doing. Instead, follow the long-term markets of business. Generally, every decade it goes up. If it goes down, it will come back and possibly go even higher. So then you would consider staying in because it is based on how the economy goes. Remember how in the beginning I said the market will go up and will go down, and that people are constantly selling and buying, entering and exiting? Well, if you're constantly exiting, your return won't be as big as you would like it to be. And if you are a trader, then naturally you're going to be exiting and entering. But you're more than likely going to be following emotions. If you don't follow emotions, you have a higher chance of succeeding. But if you do follow the emotions because you're constantly watching the market, trying to see whether it's going up or down, up and down, left and right, you will potentially lose. And honestly, that has happened to me and it was not fun. And I don't recommend it for anyone, even though sometimes it's quite tempting to do so. Point number 4. The true investor will do better if he forgets about the stock market and pays attention to his dividend returns and to the operating results of his companies. Just like I've mentioned, if you're constantly trying to figure out whether it is going up or down on a moment-by-moment basis, it's going to drive you mad because 1, your money is in there. And when you see that your money is just dipping and you're losing your money, you will go crazy. And sometimes you'll even stay in until it's all gone. And then you get out and then you've lost it all. Again, this has happened to me. But once you start learning and understanding the market, you will really comprehend how you are in the market and how you're operating in the market and how you do things. And you'll start to really see how things are and how to really invest the proper way that's right for you. And if you focus on the dividend returns, which is what you're receiving, then you're able to trade better. Now, as an investor, you're receiving a good profit from the companies. That is what you should be paying attention to. No need to constantly pick at the stock market, trying to see how it's going. You are getting paid because the companies are getting paid. The companies are doing well. That's your business. And you know what? The companies you invested in are clearly doing well if they are paying you or if you notice that you are profiting. So choosing good companies to invest in is also key. Remember, focus on the business because again, this isn't a game. Some people do actually treat trading as a game. And honestly, at one point when I was losing so much, I had to come up with so many different strategies to try to get my wins back, to try to figure out how to make this work better for me. At one point, I said, you know what? I'm going to play this as a game because I need to find the best strategy for me. I personally cannot watch the market every second of every minute of every day. I need a break. So my mentality is different, but even with that, I would still be losing. So just finding something that works for you is what's going to help you. And so if you are paying attention to what the corporations that you invested in are doing, it makes it easier for you to not stress out or to not jump in and out when you see the stock market doing X, Y, Z. Okay, now let's talk about some definitions that are important. Dividends. A dividend is a payment made by a corporation to the shareholders as a reward for their investment, representing a portion of the company's net profits. So when you own a stock, according to Google, you are a partial owner of that business. If a company earns a profit, the board of directors decides whether to reinvest those dollars back into expanding the business or pay a portion of them out to you as a dividend. Okay, so now when you hear the word dividend, it will click a little better, right? There are a few types of dividends. Cash dividends. These are the most common. Profits are distributed directly to the shareholder's brokerage account as cash. Sounds good? Sounds good to me. I like that. Next is the stock dividend. Instead of giving out cash, the company gives shareholders additional stocks. Then there is special/extra dividends. That's an unscheduled or extra one-time payment, usually when the company has a really highly profitable quarter or year. That's similar to a bonus, might I say. Okay, I've never received it, but based on how it sounds, I like it very much. That does not make sense. I was going to say I love it mucho. I don't even know, but I love it. Okay, so yeah, you get to decide which one you like. Well, you don't really get to decide. That's just how they're doing it, and you'll receive it in any one of those forms. But yeah, it sounds really fun and exciting and really cool. Now, who pays the dividends? Established, mature, and financially stable companies such as utilities and consumer good manufacturers. So yeah, that's basically where you want to be. Alright, my friends, that's it for today. I hope that you learned one thing today, or took away one thing, or were reminded of one thing. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe if you have not yet. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.